The Galaxy Council had made many decisions over its 3,000-year existence, but none would prove as catastrophic as Resolution 7749. In the Grand Chamber of Nexus Prime, representatives from 47 species gathered beneath the luminescent dome, their translators humming with cross-species chatter. Among them sat Frozen, the Valerian diplomat whose silver skin shimmered under the artificial lights, her 3 eyes fixed on the holographic display at the chamber's center. "The motion passes," announced Chancellor Vex, his mandibles clicking with satisfaction. "Earth is hereby designated a Class 5 restricted zone. All trade, communication, and travel to the Sol system are indefinitely suspended." Frozen felt her heart sink. She had argued against this for weeks, but fear had won. Fear of humanity's rapid technological advancement, fear of their unpredictable nature, fear of their refusal to bow to galactic conventions. The Council had decided that isolation was the answer. Earth had discovered faster-than-light travel only 30 years ago, a remarkably short time after joining the galactic community. In that brief period, human traders, explorers, and diplomats had spread across nearby sectors with an enthusiasm that unnerved older species. They asked too many questions, pushed too many boundaries, and worst of all, they had refused to share their latest discovery, something they called quantum entanglement navigation. "They'll understand," Vex said dismissively when Frozen raised her concerns after the vote. "Humanity is young, they need to learn their place." But Frozen knew better. She had spent 5 years on Earth as a cultural liaison, had walked through their cities, tasted their foods, and learned their histories. Humans didn't respond well to being told their place. The Council's decree went into effect immediately. Quantum beacons around Sol System were deactivated, trade routes were redirected, and the handful of human vessels in Council space were escorted to the border and sent home. Then, as ordered, the galaxy waited for Earth's response. Days passed, then weeks, then months. Earth stayed silent. No protests, no demands for explanation, no angry transmissions threatening retaliation. The Sol System's communication arrays went dark, and humanity retreated behind their star's gravitational well like a wounded animal returning to its den. The Council congratulated itself on a crisis, peacefully resolved. Frozen wasn't celebrating. She knew that silence from humans was far more dangerous than their noise. 3 years later, everything changed. Finch was nobody special, or so the Galaxy Council believed. A human cargo pilot, mid-30s, with sun-weathered skin and perpetually tired eyes. His ship, the Wandering Star, was one of the last human vessels allowed in Council space before the quarantine. He had been hauling ore from the Kelvin belt when the decree came down, and he'd been stranded ever since. Unable to return home and unwelcome anywhere else, he'd survived by taking jobs no one else would touch, navigating debris fields, transporting volatile materials, venturing into uncharted space. He'd become a ghost, drifting through the galaxy's forgotten corners. That's what made him perfect. Frozen found him in a dingy station bar on the edge of Council territory, nursing a drink that glowed faintly purple. She approached carefully, aware that 3 years of isolation might have made any human unpredictable. "Finch?" she asked, her translator rendering her words into English. He looked up slowly, recognition flickering in his brown eyes. "I remember you. Valerian Embassy, Earth. You gave a speech about unity and mutual understanding." His smile was bitter. "How'd that work out?" "May I sit?" He gestured to the empty chair. "Free galaxy. For some of us, anyway." Frozen sat, folding her long limbs carefully. "I voted against the quarantine." "Congratulations on your moral victory," Finch replied, his tone flat. "While you were voting, I lost my family, my home, and my future. My daughter turned 7 last month. I wasn't there." The pain in his voice made Frozen's throat tighten. "I'm sorry truly, but I need to know why hasn't Earth responded? 3 years of silence. What are your people planning?" Finch laughed, a sharp, humorless sound. "You want to know what humanity's been doing while you locked us away?" He leaned forward, his voice dropping. "We've been listening, Frozen. Listening and learning. Did you know the Council's encryption protocols haven't been updated in 400 years? Did you know your quantum communication network has a backdoor wide enough to fly a battlecruiser through?" Frozen's 3 eyes widened. "That's impossible. Our systems are designed by species who've been comfortable for too long." Finch interrupted. "You've been at peace so long you forgot what competition feels like, what pressure creates. Humanity, we've been fighting each other for millennia. We know how to adapt, how to innovate, how to find weaknesses. What has Earth done?" Frozen whispered, suddenly afraid of the answer. Finch pulled out a small device, no bigger than his thumb. This is a quantum key. It grants access to every military, commercial, and governmental network in council space. Every ship manifest, every defense grid, every private communication. For 3 years, humanity has been inside your systems, invisible and patient. Why are you telling me this? Because you were kind to us once. Because I remember you defending humanity when others wanted us classified as a threat. Finch's expression softened slightly. And because what happens next isn't your fault, but you need to understand it. Before Frozen could respond, every display screen in the bar flickered and changed. The council's official seal appeared, but the voice that spoke wasn't Chancellor Vex, that it was Earth's Secretary General. A woman named Sarah Chen, her face calm and resolute. Members of the Galaxy Council, she began, for 3 years, you have kept humanity in isolation. Believing silence meant acceptance, you were mistaken. We have used this time productively. We have mapped every council vessel, identified every defense weakness, and compiled evidence of 17 violations of your own protocols, including illegal weapons testing and suppression of smaller species' rights. The bar fell silent. Across the galaxy, billions watched the same broadcast. We are transmitting this information to all species simultaneously, council members and independents alike. You will find the evidence irrefutable. Effective immediately, Earth demands a seat on the council with full voting rights, the resignation of Chancellor Vex, and a formal apology for the illegal quarantine. Secretary Chen paused, letting her words sink in. Refuse, and we will release the security keys to your networks publicly. Every criminal organization, every rival faction, every species you've suppressed will have access to everything. Your age of comfortable peace will end, and you'll have no one to blame but yourselves. The transmission ended. Frozen stared at Finch, who looked exhausted rather than triumphant. We didn't want this, he said quietly. We wanted friendship, partnership, but you taught us a lesson: isolation breeds innovation, and pushed far enough, humanity doesn't break. We adapt. Within 48 hours, the Council accepted Earth's demands. Resolution 7749 was formally rescinded, and humanity rejoined the galactic community not as but as equals who had proven they could not be ignored. Frozen sponsored Finch's petition to finally return home. As she watched his ship depart for Sol System, she understood the truth. The Council had learned too late. You don't cage a species born to explore. You don't silence a people who spent millennia finding their voice. Earth had stayed silent, but only to ensure the galaxy would truly hear them. When they finally spoke, and the Council would never make that mistake again.